This is an open letter to Mrs. or Miss Masih AliNejad, or whatever your name is. Here's the thing, خانم AliNejad. Saddam was a really bad guy. Let's assume that he was killing about 5,000 Iraqis every year, torturing and killing 5,000 Iraqis every year in order to maintain order. Considering that different geographies in the world and different cultures require different level of enforcement of the rules, it might be considered normal for a leader to have to, eliminate a bunch of people per year in order to keep order. Maybe in Congo there has to be a threat of murder or imprisonment in the order of 10,000 people per year in order to maintain order. In Sweden, you don't need the threat of murder in order to bring about order, because you might consider this as racist, but it's just facts. Swedish people, cold climate, very calculated, very logical people, and when they do understand what is the purpose of a certain law, they tend to, why that law is good for the well-being of the society, they tend to follow that law. You don't need to, threaten them. But unfortunately, with the Middle Easterns, with many of the African countries, just by mere explaining to people why the law is like that and why they should follow the law, and the reason is because, for the well-being of the society, these folks, many of them don't get it, don't care to get it. The logic is not very deep. They're very emotional people. They're logical people, and then they're emotional people. If you have noticed, in the warmer climates of the world, you have more emotional people, and emotion comes in all kinds. They laugh and cry much more. They're much more at ease with laughing and crying and getting mad and getting angry. All kinds of emotion comes to surface much more easily in hot climates, in warm and hot climates, in people who have who have been living for generations in hot climates. Their emotion is much closer to the surface. Therefore, just like you see that at the drop of a hat, for example, at the drop of a hat, Indians start singing and dancing. They can't wait to start singing and dancing. And I've seen it up close and personal that at the same drop of a hat, Indians are ready to kill each other. The same thing. The emotion is very close to the surface. be it emotion of joy, sorrow, hate, it's all close to the surface. And when emotion is this close to the surface, by just explaining stuff to people, you could be sure that they're not going to follow the laws just because the laws are logical. They need a threat. They need to fear. Again, emotion. Fear is an emotion. They need to fear in order to abide by the law. This is who they are. You see, Indians fear their police. The moment their police stays home, you have riots in Indian streets. For example, that could be Congo, it could be Nigeria, it could be Iraq. Hot, warm climates with, where indigenous people are, very hot-blooded, very emotional. At the drop of a hat, you can have, blood spilling in the streets. This is who they are. So the point is this, that Iraqis in Iraq, yeah, they in Saudi Arabia, for example, today in Saudi Arabia, every Friday they have, head chopping. In every the main crossroads of every town in Saudi Arabia, they have a head chopping ceremony, and they chop a couple of heads off in front of the members of the public, because warm climate, emotional people, illogical people, the only way for these people to behave in a civilized manner in a society is through manipulating them emotionally, because they don't have logic. They have logic, but not as much logic as the Swedish do, and the Norwegians do, and the Germans do. These are very emotional people. So you cannot manipulate them by appealing to their logic. You have to manipulate them by appealing to their emotions. And the strong emotion is fear. Therefore, they chop heads off in Saudi Arabia, and they used to kill, those who, went against the, security and stability of the nation in Iraq by, killing them, whatever, hanging them. Same thing in Iran, same thing in Nigeria, same thing in Colombia, same thing. Hot and warm climate produces very emotional people. People with less logical and more emotional. This is just facts. This is just fact of life. So back to our story. Saddam knew his people, knew that they're not logical, knew that they're emotional, and in order to keep security and stability in Iraq, he had to appeal to one of their Iraqis' emotions, and that is fear. He had to apply pressure in order to invoke fear in them, so he can run a, orderly society. As simple as that. I'm sorry if I sound racist, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, you just talk to people, just talk to fucking people, and when you talk to an Arab, by the second sentence, he starts screaming at you. He doesn't mean to scream, it's just that his emotions are so close to the surface that his normal conversation comes through as screaming. But then you talk to a German, and you talk to him, even when you're arguing with him, a German's voice doesn't go about a certain decibels, because, he's still in logical mode. You can eventually get the German mad enough, so, you will have a fight with him, but it will take some time, because his emotions are not close to the surface. And that's a good thing. To run an orderly society is a good thing. Not to have for the general population, not to have their emotions so close to the surface. But we can't determine where we are born. Me and you, we were born in that shed hole in the world, that area of the world where emotions are very close to the surface. So, assuming that Saddam had to kill a couple of thousand people a year in order to, maintain order in his emotional society, one could say that even if he was killing 5,000 people a year, it would have taken him 100 years to kill 500,000 people. It would take Saddam in order to keep order. That means keeping the universities running and keeping the the bridges standing and keeping the tunnels working and keeping the water running and keeping the electricity running. In order to keep order and keep all those shit running, Saddam, let's say, would have to, at the maximum, had to kill 5,000 Iraqis per year in order to keep some kind of order in that emotional shithole. It would have taken him, if he was killing 5,000 a year, it would have taken him 100 years to kill 500,000. I'm sorry, 1,000 years. Now, my point is this: it would take him 1,000 years, 5,000 a year, give him 1,000 year, 5,000 a year for 1,000 years. That would be 500,000. Now, the point is this: you know how many people died? The lower estimate of the Iraqis who died in the invasion of Iraq by the Pinkskins from the northern hemisphere, the lower estimate is 500,000 people. The lower estimate is 500,000 people. So the Pinkskins' involvement in Iraq, the lower estimate, the higher estimate is 3 million people. The Pinkskin call them collateral damage. But we know what they are. They were alive. They would have been alive if Saddam was there. They're not alive now. 500,000. It would have taken Saddam 1,000 years to kill 500,000. The Pinkskins came in. The Pinkskin coalition came in and eliminated 500,000 in 20 years. And they're still not done. There's an estimate of 25,000, 30,000 Afghan casualties in Afghanistan, which by their own numbers, if they kept on fighting as they were fighting, they would kill a couple of thousand a year. I think not 25, 250,000 Afghans died as a result of the Pinkskin coalition attack. So what you don't understand, Miss AliNejad, is that whoever the fuck is running that shithole that they're running, they are from that shithole, usually. And they know what it takes to bring order in a shithole. A shithole, that's another reason that democracy is not for everyone. Democracy is for people who are not emotional. Democracy is for logical people, not emotional people. Democracy doesn't work in societies where emotions are so close to the surface and therefore people can be so easily manipulated. So, what the people, the leaders who are there, who have been there for some time, ruling our country, I don't care what what the fuck you wanna call them, dictatorship, bad, shitty leaders, whatever the fuck you wanna call them. If they have kept order, I think that's enough. I think if you want the good of that society, you have to find a way to work with people who have brought order. If the people in charge, wherever shithole you're talking about, from Colombia to Venezuela to Brazil to Iraq to Saudi Arabia, whoever the fuck you want to consider, if there is order there, the outsiders should try to find any way they can to work with the group or person or the establishment who has kept order. End of story. In your way of AliNejad, in your way of you speak in a way that you have your hair has been set on fire. You're fiery and you're emotional, just like the rest of the shitheads in Iran. You're fiery and emotional, and you talk like your hair has been set on fire, and you think that through your naive and childish eyes, you think that all the problem of Iran is going to be solved if these shitheads leave. Okay, they're shitheads. The shithead before these guys was any better? And you know how bloody was the revolution in Iran? The people didn't want the shithead in charge, and there was a bloody revolution because the shithead was a shithead, emotional and not logical, the guy in charge, Mohammad Reza. And the people were emotional and illogical, and are emotional and illogical, and therefore it ends up in a bloodbath. But still, that bloodbath in the revolution in Iran was still much less than if the pink skins were given a green light to go in. You see, when the pink skins are given a green light to go in, they just the whole thing goes up in the air. If the pink skins ever end up by your encouragement, by your creating the environment, people like you, if the pink skins ever decide that, yes, first of all, the pink skins always want to invade. They've invaded Africa and colonized Africa. They invaded South America and colonized South America. They invaded North America and colonized North America. And everywhere they invaded, they tried to eliminate the local population. The red skins and the black skins and the yellow skins. The pink skins, leave Europe and go to the other side of Asia, to the yellow skin land, and they try to, conquer them. On the other side of the fucking planet. Vietnam, Hong Kong, Macau, Indochina, French Indochina, Burma, India, Australia. Pink skins go in and eliminate all the black people there. خانم AliNejad, Miss AliNejad, you're a child. You're a child. You know, when I hear you, who I remember? I remember that from a few years before the Iraq invasion, from a few years before the invasion of the brown-skinned country of Iraq by the pink-skinned coalition of the Northern Hemisphere. From a few years before that, the CIA put together a group of all these Iraqi dissidents, and they brought them in, and these guys were, some of them were paid off, some of them were encouraged, some people were, enforced, some people were stimulated, as you are, to, start building up the environment of how bad the other guy is, how bad Iraq is, how bad Saddam is, and all the problem of Iraq is going to be solved if we get rid of this motherfucker. And for a few years before the invasion of Iraq, this happened. And remember, for many years before that, Iraq was under embargo. Embargo, and then building up the environment through media to, make it clear to the public opinion, to manipulate the public opinion in the pink skin land that we are the good and we are going to remove the bad. As if by removing one person, the whole country is going to become logical overnight and not emotional, and everything will be dandy. So, and I remember then after Iraq took over Kuwait, CIA actually, this time it was later on, it became clear that it was totally a lie. What they did is they asked a couple of employees of the Kuwaiti embassy in Washington DC to sit with the media in a media conference and pretend that they were doctors and nurses in the infant section, whatever they call infant section, whatever they call, where the children are born. That they came and sit in front of the press and pretended that they were workers in, the section to do with infants in the hospital in Kuwait City, and they started telling the reporters, all made up. They started telling the reporters that, yes, how the Iraqi soldiers pulled the infants out of their incubators and throw them on the ground until they died, and they stomped on them, and all it's in the business of trying to, prepare the people that these are evil people. You see what they're doing? Evil. Later on, it became clear that no, these guys who actually sat with the press and gave testimony that what they have seen, they were actually employees, or actually they were family members of the ambassador, Kuwaiti ambassador to Washington DC, and they were literally lying. They have not been in Kuwait or Kuwait City or that hospital in years. Never been to that hospital, and haven't been in Kuwait in many years. So the whole idea was just, demonizing the Iraqis. So, boom. Again, we can now sit and argue and say Kuwait actually, Kuwait is sitting between Iraq and the Persian Gulf. The only access that Iraq has to through the Persian Gulf is through a river. You see, Shat al-Arab, this Karun, whatever the fuck you want to call it, that river that's not very deep, is not a deep water river, is a very shallow river, and that's the only real access Iraq has to the Persian Gulf and warm waters. It's through that little shit. Why? Because the British have decided to give independence to the little shitty tribe sitting right between Iraq and the Persian Gulf, and call it Kuwait. If you want to give independence to tribes of Arabian Peninsula, you would have 250 nations on the Arabian Peninsula. Not just, the number that it is now. You can have 250 nations. Saudi Arabia itself, if you have to give independence to tribes, Saudi Arabia itself is like 20, 30 tribes. They all can be a different nation. Why give independence to this little shitty tribe and not give independence to all the other shitty little tribes? Basically, Kuwait is choking Iraq. Access to warm water is an important matter in international trade. And the British and the French, who have sanctioned all these border lines around the world, actually they came up with most of the border lines between countries around the world. The British and the fucking French. The pinkskins. You're choking off the oldest, one of the oldest civilizations on earth, which is living in that area of the world that is called Iraq, is being choked off from international trade by blocking it with one shitty little tribe, blocking it from warm water by one shitty little tribe. Why? Why? And then manipulating the public opinion that, okay, no, we have to go in and free Kuwait. Free Kuwait? Kuwait is like 40, 50 years old. The British have invented Kuwait. They just pulled it out of their ass. So they went in to free Kuwait, and then that was the father, and then the son came in to free Iraqis. Now the Kuwaitis, as usual, are continuing to be the slave of the pinkskins, and Iraqis now are the slave of the pinkskins. Kuwaitis, have been the slave of the pinkskins. When I say slave, I mean they don't have independence. Kuwait never has independence. If you can't defend your independence, you're not independent. If you have to depend on somebody else to defend your independence, then you're not independent. And Kuwait is not independent. Kuwait follows wherever the pinkskin leads. Because, if they want to, be a nation, live in peace, they have to follow the pinkskins. Because the pinkskins, carry the big penis at current time on planet Earth. So my point is this, that all of this theater that took place and so many lives that were lost, minimum 500,000, maximum 3 million people that were lost, was because, it was a theater of determining who's the guys with the black hat and who's the guys with the white hat, and let's hooray the white hats to go and eliminate the black hats. Miss AliNejad, you are the same. You are being used to prepare the environment for a pink-skin invasion of Iran. You think you're doing good, but here's the thing, Miss AliNejad. As I said before, by removing Saddam, things didn't get better. Things got worse because order was broken. Social structure was broken. When you break order and social structures, you're going to have a lot of casualty. Not to mention the thousands of tons of bombs that end up on top of the Iraqi's head, of the brown skin's head. When you break order, when you break order, you're going to have lots of casualties. If Saddam was killing 5,000 a year, back to the beginning, if Saddam was killing 5,000 of his people a year in order to keep some kind of order in that shithole, the pink skin killed 500,000 in 20 years. Saddam had to rule for 1,000 years and kill 5,000 a year in order to kill 500,000. The pink skins did it in 20 years. That's the minimum estimate. Again, I repeat this. Iran will never be saved by the pink skin. If the pink skins get in, as it is, the pink skins are already, as they have got involved with Iran, you see that through embargo, the Iranians have suffered more. Pink skins don't carry good news. Pink skins are never good news, Khanum AliNejad. Never good news. They keep order and security and stability on their own land, the pink skins. If you don't know much about history, go find out how badly the British police are, first of all, conducting surveillance in the British island, and how badly the British police have suppressed any kind of dissent in the British island. Go back from the time that the miners, the coal miners in Britain were being shut down quite violently by the police. Go back to Northern Ireland, which is another colony of the British on the northern corner of the island of Ireland. Go see how badly the British forces try to eliminate the local Irish in order to, open up room for the British pink skin. I mean, the British pink skin is the worst of all pink skins. They even hate other pink skins. So the point is this, Miss AliNejad, the pink skins don't have good news. Are never for good news. The arms manufacturing is one of their biggest industries, and they're itching for a fight because with all the arms and technology that they have, they know that they're going to win the fight, and they're just itching for a fight. And by clowns such as you, Khanum AliNejad, it seems to me that you have been pissed off you have some personal vendetta. You have been pissed off by Jumhuriyat Islami, and now you're screaming like your hair is on fire. You're asking for revenge, personal revenge. Miss AliNejad, I'm a Zoroastrian. I have been shed on in Iran much more than you have been shed on. I hate Iranians. I hate Muslims. I don't want to see them in my lifetime again. But what I consider that I hold my tongue is the reason I hold my tongue in speaking bad against the Iranian system is what I just explained. That Iranians, like their neighbors, because of their geography, are very emotional people. They need a big penis on top of their head, a guy with a big penis and a big stick on top of their head in order to keep some kind of fucking order. And I know that pink skins don't have a very good intentions, never had good intentions. You look at the history of Asia, Africa, Americas, North America, South America, Australia. You look at all this history, if you ever find the time, you see that Pinkskins just went in to, rob the fucking place. Settle down. Take whatever wealth they can, and then if they can settle down and run the locals into the ocean, they would do just that. This is just who they are. You can't say it's a bad thing either. It's not a bad thing, or it's a good thing. Pinkskins are aggressive. That's why you find, Pinkskins go to, Antarctica and establish a station in Antarctica. But, you don't see, Africans at the tip of Africa who have been there for millions of years. You don't see any of them going to South Pole and establishing a station in South Pole. The Zulu king didn't establish a station in South Pole, although, the Zulus had a fucking kingdom there for thousands of years at least. But the Pinkskins are aggressive. They go and establish, they go here, they go there, they go everywhere and, establish themselves. And that's bad news for the locals. South Pole is a good thing, because South Pole didn't have any locals. And now they're going to the moon and the Mars, and that's a good thing. Good for the Pinkskin. Humanity needs the Pinkskin because they're very aggressive. Aggressiveness has a good side. But with regards to other inhabitants of Earth, the Pinkskins are bad news. They don't go into fix. They go into slaughter, to eliminate. Practice shooting, test their weapons, take out resources, take out historical artifacts. This is what the Pinkskins do. You don't want that for the Iranians. If the mullahs are killing couple of thousand people a year in order to keep order in that fucking emotional society with those fucking emotional people, well, that's the price of keeping order in that part of the world. The Swedish people don't have to do that because Swedish people are very logical and educated people. You don't need to kill 1,000 of them to keep order. You just need to explain the laws to them and tell them why these laws are established to keep order in the society, to keep civility going, and the Swedish person and the Norwegian person and the German person understands and abides by the law. Iraqis don't. Iranians don't. Afghans don't. Pakistanis don't. Nigerians don't. Arabs don't. You have to appeal to their emotion to keep them away from raping each other, slaughtering each other. And that is, you have to appeal to their fear, their sense of fear. Fear. If you can put the fear of God in them and the fear of, the hangman, the fear of hanging and the fear of chopping their heads off if they rape their neighbor, then they may not rape their neighbor. Then, they sit down and they think and they say, okay, what we have to do in order to, keep the society in an orderly fashion. They don't think, just like you, Miss AliNejad. You talk, you behave emotionally. Emotionally. Not logically. Logic says, look at the history and see that if the Pinkskin is encouraging you to say something against the order over there, it's not that the Pinkskin is in love with you. It's not that the Pinkskin is in love with the Iranian brownskins. It's not that the Pinkskin loves the brown skin Iranians. It's not that the Pinkskin is all heart. It's not the Pinkskin is wearing the white hat. It's none of that. It's the Pinkskin sees there is a prophet in you talking against that order because the pink skin is not benefiting from that order right now. And the pink skin is, is currently, the pink skin is very capitalist. And capital is all about order and benefit. Capitalism is all about order and benefit. The pink skin clearly sees that they're not benefiting from the fucking system that is in Iran right now, and they encourage you and others like you to, scream like your hair is on fire and say, yes, we have to get rid of this regime because anything that comes after this is better. Are you going to change Iranians and bring Swedish people into Iran? If you're going to do that, yes, it's going to be better. If you promise me that once you remove the mullahs in Iran, you promise me to take the Iranians out and, change them or wash their brains and make them more logical and less emotional, then that's fine with me. But Iranians who they are. You are who you are. More emotional, less logical. People who are more emotional, it's societies which are more emotional and less logical. The leader, whoever the fuck the leader is, has to appeal to their emotions instead of logic to keep order. And that means, manipulating their sense of fear, which is an emotion, in order to keep some kind of fucking order, because they're not logical. So changing the mullahs won't make a fucking difference in Iran. Just like taking Saddam away didn't make things better, it made things worse. Taking Gaddafi away didn't make things better, it made things worse. Because the local population are emotional. They need to fear in order to behave. And for them to fear, democracy doesn't do it for them. They don't fear democracy. They fear the guy with the big penis and the large stick. You're not doing anybody any good, Mrs. AliNejad, Miss AliNejad. You're not doing anybody any good by screaming like your hair is on fire and breathing fire and, trying to convince everybody that all the problem is this religion. The religion is as good as the people, and the people are as good as their fucking religion. I'm a Zoroastrian. And I've seen the fucking religion firsthand, how Islam is, unfriendly towards the fucking outsiders from anybody who's not a Muslim. I know it firsthand. Your fucking name is AliNejad, and you had in comparing to my life, you had a great life in Iran. You just had to cover your fucking hair. Because with the last name like AliNejad, nobody would question your fucking loyalty to Islam. I was always under question. My loyalty was always under question. Is always under question. Always mistreated. The guy just came and blew out my eardrum with a dummy bullet just because I defended my religion in the military camp, military training. So you haven't had it worse than the religious minorities in Iran, but the religious minorities in Iran are happy as long as the fucking order is kept. The same order that you're trying to bring down. We don't care for the mullahs. We care for the order. But the order has to be kept in order for everybody to stay safe. the Muslim population fears, therefore they're not slaughtering the Christians and the Jews and the Zoroastrians. If the local shithead Muslim, emotional Muslims do not fear the system becomes disorderly and they don't fear the system anymore, they're gonna start slaughtering all the minorities. Just like they did in Iraq. It's the same fucking neighborhood. Iranians are no better than Iraqis and are no better than Pakistanis and no better than Afghans because it's the same fucking neighborhood. By breaking the order by force, nothing good comes out of it. Especially if you leave it to the pinkskins to break different orders around the world under the impression that they're going to make things better. They're going to bring a better order. Outsiders cannot bring a better order than the insiders. Because the insiders know how their people are and know what works for their people and what doesn't. How to keep order, how one can keep order and how one cannot keep order. The pinkskins don't have a fucking clue how to keep order in Iraq or Afghanistan. And that's not their intention. Their intention is just smash and grab. Smash and grab. It's a thievish term. It's a kind of, robbery. Smash and grab and run. That's what the pinkskin does. If they can't stay and colonize, they will try to stay and colonize. The British have left the unit back in Afghanistan, their old colony, which they have reconquered for the third time now. You think the pinkskin means good? Why would the pinkskin do anything good for the brown skin of Afghanistan? The pinkskins do not even want to do anything for each other. Have you noticed the large number of people, American citizens, who don't have access to affordable health care? Have you noticed the large number of American citizens who are homeless? Have you noticed all of that? Have you noticed the educational system that is producing shit in the pigskin land, both, in British Island and in Uncle Sam's land? The money is not being spent on education. So the pigskin really doesn't give a fuck about their own people. Why would they give a fuck about the Iraqis? They're going to attack Iraq to help Iraq? They don't even want to help their own people. They're going to attack Afghanistan to help Afghanistan? They don't even want to help their own people. The rich pinkskins don't even want to help the poor pinkskins. You're encouraging them to get involved with Iran in order to help Iran? The pinkskins don't even want to help pinkskins. Why would they want to help the fucking brown Iranians? No. You're creating an environment which the pinkskin can do another smash and grab job in the Middle East. This time in Iran. End of story. Are you fucking serious? Miss AliNejad, I'm sorry, you're naive. You're a child. You're not well read. You're not well informed. You have a personal vendetta, which I also do. I hate Iranians. I hate Muslims. I in general. But it's a shame to, see what happened to Iraq happen to Iran. Proportionally, 500,000 to 1 million Iraqis died. Iran has 3 times the population of Iraq. So proportionally, we're talking about 2-3 million Iranians dying in case of pink skins deciding to, do a smash and grab job in Iran. Why? All those historical artifacts, all those historical places, all smashed to pieces by the new technology that Raytheon and McDonnell Douglas and Boeing can come up with. Top of the line, most powerful thing they can come up with. They're gonna test it on, Takht Jamshid. Because, I guess Iranians are supposedly going to put a lot of their military hardware in Takht Jamshid, so that justifies it. Or no, just smash Shiraz and let Takht Jamshid be looted by some local cocksuckers who are going to sell the loot on the border to some pink skins who are going to take the loot to the European capitals. That's what happened in Iraq. The order was broken. Some cocksucker poor looters went through the Iraqi treasures, historical treasures, stole them, took them to the border. Some pink skins met them at the border, bought them, and took them to the pink skin capitals of the world. That's a smash and grab job. You smash, somebody else grabs. Masih AliNejad, the pink skins really don't care how many thousands of, Iranians or Iraqis die in order to keep order. Just like the pink skins don't care how many thousands of people the Saudis kill in order to keep order. But, in reality, they don't care. But on the surface, because they have, plans for Iran, suddenly the pink skins, go out of their way and, pretend that they care about human rights. And yes, Iranians should not be killing people and they should not to try to keep order. They should let the animals run free and burn down their towns because they're very emotional people. And turn Iran into Somalia, turn Iran into Afghanistan, turn Iran into Iraq. You see, as long as there is disorder, since the pink skin has done the smash and grab, and now there is disorder, the pink skin doesn't have any problem with disorder. The pink skin pulls out, just like, you fuck a whore, you pull out your dick and you leave. That's what happens. The pink skin does his business with these brown skins, pulls out his penis, and goes. Iraq, Afghanistan, Vietnam, Somalia, they don't have problem with disorder and shed holes. What they do have a problem, what the pink skins have a problem, is with orderly brown, black, and yellow lands. That's what was problematic for them. They have a problem that the Iranians have been able to keep some kind of fucking order, to have some kind of universities, that they are now developing some kind of, trying to keep up technologically in terms of warfare with the pink skin. That's the problem. But if Iran looked like Afghanistan or Iraq or Somalia, the pink skin wouldn't have any problem. Even if the leaders in Iran were killing 500,000 a day, they wouldn't even mention in the news. They certainly would not pay you to talk about it because it's disorder, and the pink skins are actually benefiting from disorder because they're selling arms and they're buying historical artifacts in the black market, and they're selling arms to the locals. And let them kill each other night and day. Who cares? This is what the pink skin idea is. Break the order, bring about disorder. In disorder, you can buy the whatever is valuable from the shithead locals on the cheap, and you can sell them a lot of arms. Sell a lot of arms to shithead locals to kill each other. That is what is profitable for the fucking British, for the fucking French. Now they don't have any problem with Libya. Why? Example right in front of you. As long as Gaddafi had order, there were universities, there were roads, there were bridges. Everybody has a problem with Libya. All the pink skins had a problem with Libya. They hired a lot of people like you to talk shit about Libya and how human rights are being violated by Gaddafi and his system and bad.